you do, isn't it?
Since you find yourself in the middle of the storm, there is a view that there was an error of judgment. Was a legal opinion sought? And if yes, did it err at some point, sir?
लॉर्ड गणेशा के इमेज डालने के बावजूद अगर इंडोनेशियन रुपया भी गिर रही है, जैसे इंडियन रुपी गिर रही है, तो ये सब तो बेबुनियाद बातें हैं. These are not economic arguments. These are political stunts.
Hello everyone, you're watching News Epicenter with me, Maria Shakil. Sunday's Morbi disaster has sent shockwaves across the country, where over 130 people lost their lives in the bridge collapse. Today, Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited the collapse site, where he reviewed the search and rescue operations. The Prime Minister also met rescue workers, medical personnel, as well as survivors and their families. He also chaired a meeting with local officials and called for a swift investigation, ordering them to take action against all those responsible. He also said that those children who have been orphaned by this tragedy are now the responsibility of the state. Remember, this bridge was opened 6 days back after being under repair for 7 months. It was opened 5 months ahead of schedule, without a fitness or completion certificate. There was no crowd control as tickets were sold at 17 rupees per head, and overcrowding caused this unfit bridge to collapse. 9 suspects have been arrested, all linked to the Oreva Group, a subsidiary of Ajanta Infrastructure. The firm was responsible for the repair and maintenance of this bridge. The arrested include contractors, ticket collectors, security guards and managers. But no action has been taken against the top brass of this company. Moreover, there has been no action against civic officials for what is clearly a case of criminal negligence. The question remains, after the Prime Minister's green signal, when will heads roll? First, what happened today?
Prime Minister Modi touched down in Morbi, where more than 130 lives were snuffed out in a matter of seconds when an overcrowded hanging bridge collapsed. After conducting an aerial survey of the Machchu river, where teams of the NDRF are still searching for the missing, Prime Minister Modi visited the site of the bridge collapse and took stock of the operations. He then visited the local hospital, met survivors of Sunday night's tragedy, as well as the families of those who lost their lives. Prime Minister Modi said the mishap in Morbi has shaken him to the core. But questions remain over whether Morbi was a man-made tragedy. 9 scapegoats have been arrested, but the big fish behind the Morbi bridge collapse have gone scot-free. Ahmedabad-based Oreva Group was in charge of the renovation and repair of the bridge. Yet, the FIR has no mention of the company or its owner.
The watchman here is telling us that till Diwali he was here and after that he left. Now, in fact, on the day of inauguration also he left. Left for the event from this apartment, which is situated just 10 minutes distance from a suspension bridge.
In March this year, the bridge was closed to the public and Oreva Group carried out the repair and renovation work. But despite the contract clearly stating that the bridge will be closed for 8 to 12 months, Oreva opened it back for the public 5 months in advance on the Gujarati New Year. Some of the old cables of the bridge in Morbi weren't even changed during the so-called renovation. What's worse is that no fitness certificate was taken before reopening the bridge. Yet, tickets were sold for a mere 17 rupees per person to more than 400. Zero crowd management meant that the bridge was loaded way beyond capacity. Shockingly, the municipal corporation claims it only found out that the bridge was functional on the 29th of October. This callousness from the repair to the reopening left more than 130 people dead. Those who survived can't shake off the horror of Sunday night.
जैसे पुल के ऊपर गए थोड़ा अंदर गए ऐसे पुल नीचे गिरा
15-20 छोकरा बॉयडे मस्ती कर रहा था और लतबत छारी में मार रहा था पहला धीरे से थी फिर फास्ट से और तीसरी बार आवाज आई नहीं तो बीच गिर गए.
So who is shielding those behind the Morbi bridge collapse?
Here are the big questions that still persist. Question 1. Why has the owner of Oreva not even been questioned so far? Remember, the FIR was lodged and arrests made, but what about the top brass of this company? Why did the Morbi police not even name Oreva company in the FIR? Can the state deny lapses on the part of the Morbi civic body? What about the municipal authorities? Shouldn't they be booked? Shouldn't the civic body be booked for criminal negligence? And why has there been no action against Morbi civic officials yet? Several questions for which we are seeking answers. And let me go straight to Morbi now, where VVN Prasanna Kumar is joining me live. He is the NDRF commandant. Mr. Prasanna, really appreciate your time. My question to you, sir, is the rescue operation over, or will the search operation continue with your divers?
Actually, the search operation is still going on. Our deep divers and our boats are still doing operations in the this Machchu river. So there is no stop in the our operations.
Do we know how many people are missing, Mr. Prasanna?
I think we are, as per the information received from district administration, it may be 1 or 2 persons. That's why we are searching for these missing persons.
Okay, and you know, the muddy water of the Machchu river is posing a challenge for the divers to go underwater and look for people. Is that true? That's what we were told by reporters from the ground.
Yes, the water. This is a muddy water, and most of the sewer water also mixed in this water. Because of this phenomena, the water color is almost all black color. Because due to this, our divers are facing problems, visibility problems when they are into the water. However, we are using some latest technologies like underwater ROV plus sonar system. With these equipments, we are reaching, our divers are reaching in the riverbed and also continuing searching for the missing persons.
Okay, so you are saying at the moment you are sensing that perhaps 1 or 2 people could be missing, and most of those, you know, the casualty figure is around 134. That's what we are told. And you know, in terms of the rescue operation, how long do you think it will continue? And drones, we are being told, are being used to facilitate this entire search and rescue operation. Give us more details.
Actually, the figure today, because one of the injured persons succumbed to death, so that's why the figure rises to 135. Okay. As per information from district administration, there may be 1 or 2 persons. We are still continuing the operations. And we are using whatever the technology available, latest technology available in the field. So we are using these technologies, and it will continue till everybody satisfies that there won't be any body is there on the river. Till that time, we will continue our search operations.
And what are the challenges that you are facing? Of course, you spoke about the muddy water. What else?
because there is a hysia of weed there. However, today the district administration deployed weed removal machine in the water. So that's why the weed problem is also gone. So the water is almost all clear from the weed.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Prasanna Kumar, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us. That was the detail coming in from the NDRF commandant who's overseeing the rescue operation, which is continuing on ground zero in Morbi. But as you ask those questions, ladies and gentlemen, about Morbi, I'm going to play some visuals. And just look at this visual that is coming from Yellapura in Karnataka. It seems no lessons have been learned. Here you can see tourists driving a car on a suspension bridge, which could have collapsed at any time. Why would you take such a risk? In fact, it was the protests from the locals which prompted these tourists to exit the bridge. But clearly a disaster was waiting to happen, and there was zero presence of local authorities to prevent any other tragedy or prevent even this tragedy. There was no police or security official present to tell this tourist not to take the car onto the bridge. Who would have been held accountable if another tragedy would have taken place? The unfortunate part is that just like Morbi in the past, we have seen tragedies, but when it comes to arrests, most of these arrests have taken place just for negligence. But the cases drag on and the suspects get bail and the status quo remains in most of these cases. Because we have seen the big fish or the top guy are never held accountable for these tragedies. Let me give you some more details on that. Look at the 2019 Mumbai footbridge collapse. 6 people were killed, 29 injured. 3 government engineers were arrested and charged with negligence, which is section 304A of the IPC. 218 Varanasi flyover collapse. 18 people were killed. 7 government engineers and 1 contractor were arrested and charged again with negligence or just lapses. 2016 Kolkata flyover crash. 27 people were killed and 70 were injured. 16 suspects charged with culpable homicide. They are all out on bail. Then there is the 2009 Kota Chambal bridge crash, where 28 people were killed. 14 Hyundai and Gammon officials were only booked for negligence. So the question is, how many more tragedies will it take for the Aam Aadmi to see real action against this deadly negligence that haunts our public infrastructure? Joining me on the show, Aprajita Sarangi, Member of Parliament of the BJP. Ashdeep Singh is the spokesperson of the Congress. We have Neelam Krishnamurthy, President of Association of Victims of Opar Tragedy, and Ashwini Dubey is an advocate of the Supreme Court. Aprajita Sarangi, the Prime Minister has said it clearly that action must be taken. He is someone who has, in his 12 years as the Chief Minister of Gujarat, always emphasized on transparency. And here what we are seeing right now on ground is something which will be questioned. Particularly, how could a private firm throw open a bridge on its own? The fact is that the bridge was open for 3 days before the collapse. Surely there was enough time for the local administration to act and shut down the bridge. So what really happened?
A very good evening. Whatever happened on October 30th in Morbi has been extremely unfortunate. And I can only say that no words or actions can compensate for the loss of lives that took place there. So I can only say that the government, whether at the center or the state or the local administration, all are working in tandem, and we are trying to bring in relief to the families of the deceased as much as we can. The relief operations are on, and you are well aware of the fact that within 24 hours of the horror-filled incident, the I think there was a preliminary inquiry held and 9 arrests were made. And at the same time, SIT has been constituted, Special Investigation Team has been constituted with 5 officials. And the SIT, I'm told, has started working. We need to wait for the report of the SIT. But at the same time, I would definitely like to mention that our Prime Minister did not just wait for the report to come to him in Delhi or in Kevadia where he was. He immediately went to the spot and he met the rescue teams and also the families of the deceased and of course the patients who were in the city hospital. And he held a very high level meeting in the office of the Superintendent of Police. He basically wants to convey to everybody, those who are affected and those who are watching who are affected, that the government is with the people, those who are affected.
Okay.
And this is an act of criminal negligence.
Absolutely.
Now here, I must say with
Yes.
all conviction at my command that I'm not sitting in self-defense. No defense as such.
Absolutely.
And whatever questions, Maria, you are asking, I
Yes.
can only say that there also are questions.
Yes.
It's not a question of you and me. It's a question of we. I think the entire nation has questions.
Yes.
And it should not happen anywhere.
Yes,
But I
before
can
I-
only say
before I-
that we
before
have
I
to
bring
wait
in-
for the report of
before
the
I bring in the
SIT
Congress
and
because there is less politics here and more to do with accountability, and that's why I want to bring in Neelam Krishnamurthy. Neelam Krishnamurthy, I have just briefed a list of bridge collapse that has happened in recent times. Every time there is a bridge collapse, we talk about accountability, arrests are made, but it is about criminal negligence. That's where it stops. Do you think this is clearly time has come to revisit law and talk about it from the point of view that this is culpable homicide amounting to murder? Intention, yes, it may not be, but if it is the scale of the tragedy of this nature, over 130 people killed, then accountability should be of that nature. Neelam Krishnamurthy.
Absolutely, Maria. That's precisely what I was going to. That's exactly what I was going to start my discussion with. In fact, I have been in these discussions, hundreds of discussions in the last 26 years after Opar.
Yes.
And you yourself enumerated a number of tragedies and you said that what they were charged with was only 304A.
Yeah.
Now, 304A is a bailable offense, and each time they, an incident happened, they get bail and they are out. And we are all aware of that, what speed our criminal justice system works. And it takes decades and the matter never reaches the ultimate conclusion. And the only case in the last maybe 40 years which has reached the Supreme Court is the Opar fire tragedy case.
Yes.
For the conviction. Unfortunately, even there the Supreme Court has allowed the uncles to walk free, citing their old age, and they were charged under 304A. So now tell me, what is the message that has gone down to the society? You people have discussions each time there is an incident. There is a lot of outrage, public outrage. There is a media outrage. The police comes and does its job. They file the charge sheet and then it's forgotten. The political parties come and make the statements. Doshiyon ko choda nahi jayega. That's a cliche. I hear from all the parties, irrespective of which party it is. And then subsequently, when the charge sheet is filed, you go and ask them what's happening. देखिए मैडम, अभी मैटर सब जुडिस है, अब हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते, कोर्ट का मामला जो होगा सो होगा. And the courts, the cases drag on for years. So tell me, what message is being sent? Why should there be a deterrence? Why should people be scared कि अगर कुछ हो गया तो हम जेल में जाएंगे या हमारी नौकरी चली जाएगी? Because this is a result of this total disregard for safety, scant respect for human life, and a result of greed and corruption. Now
Yes.
tell me, how are you going to prove corruption? This always happens because the municipal authorities, the other government agencies, and the so-called builder lobby, all these, infrastructure experts, they are all in cahoots. They are all in working together to increase their profits. And these government officials, their palms are greased. And they are never going to stop doing that because they are never punished. So how do you send in a message? So what I want is a special legislation to deal with the man-made disaster, which I've been advocating for the last 14 years. There is a consultation paper submitted by the Law Commission of India on my request, where they said, yes, there is a law which needs to be dealt with this, because how are you going to prove intention or something. So they have to be dealt with man-made disaster.
Yes.
You know, we have to
Yes.
have a law
Yes.
to deal with such tragedies.
Yes.
And it should
Yes.
not be a bailable offence.
It should not be a bailable offence.
that is the
Ashwini
need of the
Dubey,
hour, if we
Ashwini
have
Dubey,
that.
yes.
Yes.
Because I remember Neelam Krishnamurthy has been coming on my shows every time a disaster happens and we take it up on these lines. But nothing seems to have moved. Ashwini Dubey, the bigger concern should be to understand why the bridge collapsed just 4 days after it was reopened. And why was it reopened in the first place? Because for sake of ensuring accountability and for drawing lessons for the future, that has to be explained. Because if you look at the initial information that has come in, the bridge was reportedly opened without procuring a fitness certificate from the municipality of Morbi. And if it was opened for 4 days before the collapse, then what were the Morbi officials doing? What were the civic authorities doing? Why wasn't it shut?
Thank you, Maria Shakil ji, for having me here. Maria ji, it's not a merely criminal negligence under section 304A, where the maximum punishment is 2 years. It's the culpable homicide. It's a knowing and deliberate attempt to kill the people. It is a knowing and deliberate attempt to allow the people more than the prescribed capability or the capacity of the bridge. It is a knowing attempt on the part of the state authorities, be it the municipal authorities, be it the police authorities, be it the contractor or the authority which has sanctioned the project. It's a utter lapse and negligence on the part of the government authorities, with the negligence and fault in duty by the private operator, which has resulted in severe violation of fundamental rights of the people under Article 21 of the Constitution of India. I'm very sorry to say, a sensible person like Ms. Aparajita Sarangi is just trying to give this is a criminal negligence. She has been an IS. It's a culpable homicide, Ms. Sarangi. And the people, whosoever involved in this, you cannot say just the BJP government is there and therefore the authorities should not be held accountable. 4 चौकीदारों को बिठा देने से 140 लोगों की मौत को आप justify नहीं कर सकते हैं. It's a principle of vicarious and absolute liability. Ms. Neelam Krishnamurthy has been fighting the Upahar tragedy case for the decades and years. What happens in this case when the matters postpones and the time takes in investigating the matter, evidence धीरे-धीरे खत्म होता जाता है. So what is the need of the hour? Need of the hour, the government has powers to constitute a tribunal with the specific decisions to complete the investigation, trial and punishment in a time-bound manner. The tribunal should be take this decision in a logical manner. The jurisdiction and power of court to indemnify a citizen for the injury suffered due to abuse of power and public authorities is founded. And the Supreme Court from time to time have already said that it is equal responsibility of the state government.
Because I'm looking at the charges. The case was registered in Morbi under IPC 304, which is punishment for culpable homicide not amounting to murder, and 308, attempt to commit culpable homicide. That's what the charge is. That's why we are saying that this is, if anything, culpable homicide amounting to murder. There is a need to revisit the law, particularly in the context of man-made tragedy. Before I bring in Aparajita Sarangi, Ashpreet, please come in on this. The larger question, of course, is that we are seeing, just as other political parties, the BJP, which is the party in government in Gujarat, is also asking questions. They are also raising questions because concerns are about those lives that are lost. Everybody is grieving together here. So why make it about politics?
Well, if anyone made it about politics, it was Mr. Modi, who said when a similar incident happened that it's not an act of God, it's an act of fraud. So they should look into their statements, into their history, and then talk about us. Number 2, the BJP is saying, look at our response, we are acting upon it. What do you mean by that? It is your job to act. It is your duty to act. The fact of the matter is that this kind of an incident should not have happened in the first place, that you're not understanding. And, clearly no lessons have been learned. The first act of negligence led to the death of many people, several women and children included, led to the collapse of a bridge. And despite that, they haven't acted. all the heads that were supposed to roll haven't rolled yet. And we don't understand, why does the BJP not understand the simple fact that it's the bosses. It is the bosses that give orders and the staff that follows it. So take an action against them, and that's why we are demanding an inquiry by a sitting High Court or a Supreme Court judge. Number two, the government is instead rubbing salt on the wounds of those family members whose family have either been injured or their family they have lost a family member. So what has the government done? Mr. Modi came to the hospital, and there was a revamping that was done, a red carpet kind of a visit. They started painting, putting on things, and the worst of all, they put a water cooler, and the channel showed the reality behind it. The water cooler wasn't connected with the wall. There was no tube in it.
Aprajita, the question again is, yes,
Ashpreet,
yes,
please have 5 seconds.
Okay,
it's very
quickly.
important. So the coolers weren't even connected. This goes on to show that they were rented allegedly, and they should answer. And
Aprajita, the question here is that the officials in Morbi municipality have tried to shift the entire blame onto the company. They are saying that the private firm threw the bridge open to visitors without notifying them. And without getting a safety audit, without them giving a certificate to them, and there was no safety audit that was conducted. But this is a bridge right in the heart of the city. It's a landmark structure. And if the people knew about it, we cannot surely, believe that the Morbi authorities did not.
I think people like us would never deny we are not in self-defense here. I can only say that fitness certificate should have been given. Fitness certificate had not been given by the Morbi municipality, and the bridge was opened for the public to come, and there was overloading. There are questions, as I mentioned, but the only thing that I want to say categorically, that the SIT report has to come. So the process has to be followed, whether you like it or not, whether I like it or not. So once the SIT report comes, heads will roll, and nobody who is guilty will be spared. Whatever the size of the fish is, big and small fish would be netted together. Let me assure you, I say this with all sense of responsibility. And Honorable Prime Minister has made it very, very clear today when he was with those people there, that there would be no interference allowed into the inquiry. So the inquiry, the investigation would be absolutely impartial. And these words are not coming from you and me. These words are coming from Honorable Prime Minister, who was there on the spot. But I can only request people from the Congress and people from AAP and other opposition parties, please leave certain issues. Certain issues are above politics. We should not indulge in petty politics. Wait for the report to come and see what the government does. Government has been doing. Government would be doing. Government stands with the people.
I am going to go back to Neelam Krishnamurthy and Ashwini Dubey. Yes, Ashwini, 10 seconds is all you have.
Section 304A and Section 308 only have 2 years of punishment and 3 years of imprisonment.
Yes. So what is needed here is, Aprajita, you are a member of parliament, so the question here, no, this is the point that I have been raising. So let me just say, as a lawmaker yourself, do you think there is a need to revisit what Neelam Krishnamurthy is saying on the charges that are there on the issue of man-made tragedy? Neelam Krishnamurthy, please come in.
There is a PIL, public interest litigation, in the Honorable Supreme Court too. And the hearing is on.
Can I come in? Can I come in?
Yes, Neelam Krishnamurthy.
Can I come in?
Yes.
It's not about going to Supreme Court. It is not the Supreme Court which is going to come up with the law. It is the responsibility of the government to come in with the law, and they should not shirk the responsibility. It's high time. They should come in with the law to deal with man-made disaster. If they don't learn now, they'll never learn. For them, it's the life of VIPs that matters. The life of ordinary citizens in this country doesn't matter for anyone. For them, it's just a matter of debate, coming here and scoring brownie points over each other and politicizing the issue. It's a great matter of great shame when the political parties, politicize such issues. They should be ashamed of themselves. I can say this because these are not the people who've lost their children. It's ordinary citizens in this country like me who've lost their children to the greed and corruption of this government. This government, previous governments, all these political parties, they're all in cahoots. They go on, protecting the government employees who are working under them, be it IAS officers, IPS officers,
I think we
municipal
need to
commissioners,
issue
or anyone.
responsible
These
statements.
are. I'm making a very responsible statement, madam. I've
These
experienced
are
this for 26
irresponsible
years, and I'm
statements,
fighting it out in the court.
madam, which you are issuing. You just can't have general statements like this. Now, here is a government
Madam, I have
which is
experienced
saying
it. Of course,
with
let me see,
absolute
madam. What have you
emphasis
done?
that there would
What
be
have you?
no sparing
You
of the
can
guilty.
say. You can say
The
what you
process
like.
of inquiry is
Let's
on.
visit
There
this
is a
after
Supreme
1 year.
Court case. PIL has
Excuse
been
me.
filed. But
Excuse
that
me.
apart, as
It
citing
doesn't
is on
matter.
the
Supreme
job,
Court
and
will do
I think
nothing.
we should wait for the report
Supreme
of
Court
the
does
SIT.
nothing. Supreme
Honorable
Court does
Prime
passes
Minister is
orders
there
which
on
are
the
absolutely
spot,
accused
talking
friendly.
to the people.
It doesn't matter, madam.
Honorable
I have seen
Prime
this. There are a
Minister
whole
is
lot of people
communicating
dying.
with the people
You
of
can
the
make this
country.
statement.
All right, Aprajita Sarangi,
If the Prime
Harshpreet,
Minister is
Neelam
going there-
Krishnamurthy and Ashwini Dubey, thank you so much for joining us. I'm shifting focus to our second debate. Con man, Sukesh Chandrasekhar, the man linked to top Bollywood A-listers, has written an explosive letter to Delhi Lieutenant Governor V.K. Saxena. He claims jailed Delhi Minister Satyendra Jain extracted 10 crore rupees from him as protection money. Sukesh Chandrasekhar claims he has known Satyendra Jain since 2015 and the minister visited him frequently in Tihar jail, adding that he paid 50 crore to the Aam Aadmi Party after he was promised an influential party position. The BJP has rained fire on the Aam Aadmi Party, accusing it of running a Vasooli racket in Tihar jail. The Aam Aadmi Party has dismissed the charges, with Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal accusing the BJP of relying on a con man to make political points. He also called Sukesh's letter a tactic by the BJP to divert attention from the Morbi tragedy.
सुकेश चंद्रशेखर और सत्येंद्र जैन दोनों बड़े अच्छे मित्र हैं। सुकेश चंद्रशेखर कहते हैं कि मैं 2015 से आम आदमी पार्टी से टच में हूं और तब से सत्येंद्र जैन मेरे घनिष्ठ मित्र हैं।
सारे टीवी चैनल्स मोरबी का मुद्दा उठाते हैं और आज अचानक टीवी चैनल से मोरबी गायब हो गया और सुकेश चंद्रशेखर के आरोप जो हैं वो आ जाते हैं, तो लगता नहीं कि मोरबी से ध्यान भटकाने के लिए ये एक कम्प्लीटली फिक्टिशियस, कम्प्लीटली फर्जी स्टोरी एक प्लांट की गई है।
Now let me take you through the 5 big charges from Sukesh Chandrasekhar at the center of this latest political storm. Remember, he has written this letter. Charge 1. Sukesh Chandrasekhar is claiming that he has paid 50 crores to the Aam Aadmi Party since 2015, as he was promised an important party position. Charge 2. Sukesh Chandrasekhar is saying that he was visited multiple times by Satyendra Jain, who is presently in Tihar jail. Charge 3. Sukesh Chandrasekhar then says that Satyendra Jain's secretary asked him to pay 2 crore every month. So was this some kind of an extortion? Well, we'll try and get more details on that. Charge 4. Sukesh Chandrasekhar further said that he had paid over 10 crore rupees to Jain in 3 months as protection money. And then charge 5. Sukesh Chandrasekhar goes on to claim that Satyendra Jain threatened him to withdraw the case against the DG of Delhi prisons. So what is the truth behind this explosive charge? Can there be smoke without fire? Have troubles for Satyendra Jain only doubled? Let me take all those questions to the panelists who are joining me on the second debate. Vineet Goenka, BJP spokesperson; Radhika Khera, representing the Congress. There is Priyanka Kakkar, spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party, and A.K. Singh is Sukesh Chandrasekhar's lawyer. Priyanka Kakkar, you cannot dismiss all charges as malicious and not offer an explanation.
Good evening to everyone, Maria. Maria, if I take these charges on face value, I was just thinking, it reflects what an incompetent enforcement directorate we have that somebody with so much black money inside the jail is able to give money outside. One. Secondly, Maria, this is as clear as it gets that, okay, we are already facing an investigation. ED has not picked this letter up. Okay, let the investigation be ongoing. Questions should be asked when there is a clear case of corruption in Morbi, when you did not even replace the cables and 140 people lost their lives, 56 of them were children. How and who gave a contract without a tender of a public work to a person who had no experience in bridge renovation?
If you watch my shows, I have just done that. I've raised all the questions. Can we move on to the explanation that is being sought from you, please, ma'am? You have made a point.
One is a clear case of corruption, and you want to debate.
Yes. So no discovery has been made. So you have essentially talked about ED. You have said that how is ED allowing this kind of cash in the jail? So let me take that question to AK Singh.
I'm saying it shows a monumental failure of the ED if this allegation is taken on face value.
AK Singh, what is making Sukesh Chandrasekhar pen this letter right now?
This is an attempt to expose the corruption that is going on inside the Tihar jail, India's biggest jail, India's safest jail, India's most high-tech jail. The way the corruption racket is being run in connivance with the senior police officers and politicians. So this letter is an attempt to expose all, and a simple request and prayer has been made in the letter that an investigation may be directed. So what is an issue? And if on the disclosure statement of the Sukesh, if the Jacqueline Fernandez can be framed, on the disclosure statement of the Sukesh, 105 police personnel can be charged, can be booked into corruption cases, then why not on a disclosure statement of a Sukesh investigation against Mr. Jain can be conducted?
Priyanka, you know, whatever said and done, these are very serious allegations. If anything, you should be saying that let all these allegations be investigated. Sukesh Chandrasekhar says that he has known Satyendra Jain since 2015. And that in 2019, I was visited by Satyendra Jain and his secretary and his close friend Mr. Sushil in jail and asking me to pay 2 crore every month to him as protection money to live safely in jail. I mean, what exactly is happening? Is this hafta, extortion? What exactly is happening?
Yes, exactly. In the Supreme Court, in the Supreme Court, there was a jail transfer petition was being heard. At that time, the government has filed an affidavit detailing all the list of the rank-wise list of the police officers and their protection money that was being paid every month. Superintendent 60 lakhs, deputy superintendent 30
But why is there no cleanup in the jails then?
Can I speak?
Yes, Priyanka, quickly come in.
One is that he quoted the example of Jacqueline Fernandez, and there were certain discoveries, certain gifts made to them, and therefore she is called for questioning. No such discoveries have been made in this case after 400, 500 raids. Secondly, he is a lawyer. He will be well aware that there is a Supreme Court order dated 23rd August 2022, where the ED has said that the claim of Sukesh may not be heard and his jail transfer be stopped because they have already suspended certain police officials who were probably involved in this extortion racket with Sukesh. He is aware of it.
No, in that matter, the only prayer was the jail transfer. That is why the Honorable Supreme Court was limited to my prayer.
ED moved an application. ED moved an application, 23rd August 2022 order. You want me to show it, sir? You want me to show it, sir? Okay. If you're not aware, I can do it.
Let me bring the BJP now in the panel discussion. Vineet Goenka, the Aam Aadmi Party, you heard from them. They say that this is a diversionary tactic.
See, today, Delhi citizens are suffering. The minister is in jail for last many months. He is not only accused of this particular incidents, but he is also accused in Hawala. My request through your channel and to the spokesperson who is here right now, to Arvind Kejriwal would be, please terminate this minister, let Delhi have governance. 2, if he has some shame, he should also resign. There are total 38 MLAs of Aam Aadmi Party elected in Delhi who have serious cases against them. I can name them if you want. Amartullah Khan, Tahir Hussain, Somnath Bharti, Sishodia himself, Abdul Rahman, Sohaib Iqbal, Akhilesh Pati, Sanjeev Jha, Prakash ji from Devli, Rajesh Rishi, some Mr. Yadav, some Mr. Gulab Singh. The list is endless. This is a party of conmen, writers. These are the people who decide, go inside the jail. He was jail minister. He visited the jail, inconvenience with the DG there, threatened the incumbent there. He extorted 50 crore rupees for political purpose and 2 into 5, 10 crore rupees for his protection. Now, this is not protection. This is basically an extortion. So I think it's a very clear case where Arvind Kejriwal should come in. He should feel ashamed of this particular act of his own minister. One, terminate the minister immediately. Two, he himself.
Priyanka, Mr. Kejriwal has given character certificate to all his ministers, including Satyendra Jain, saying वो बहुत ही इंसाफ पसंद हैं. सवाल तो ये उठेगा ना कि if they are facing charges and allegations of this nature, how long can you defend them?
Maria, we have faced charges in 180 cases and come out clean on most of them, and some are pending. If we started resigning on these false cases, which take 7-8 years for the trial, there'll be no government. Secondly, I am very appalled because I can't see the screen, so I couldn't see the panelist before me. I'm appalled at his demand when he can't see a clear case of corruption in Morbi and not making a similar demand for the Gujarat CM to resign. That is appalling. 140 are do not matter to.
Can I come in, please?
Yes, Vineet Goenka. There seems to be some problem with that line. We'll try and fix it. Yes, go ahead, Vineet Goenka.
Yeah. So the diversionary tactics, when there was an investigation of liquor scam been going on, then they would present some newspaper
Gujarat
which
CM
does
should
not have any
resign.
connection with India, some New York Times.
The Gujarat CM should resign because 140 people lost their lives due to corruption of the government.
Ma'am, please allow me to complete my point, please, ma'am. So here, now with the case, you had a nice discussion half an hour back on Gujarat, so I would not try to comment on that particular part. The case here is simple.
Do you want him to resign or not, sir? Simple question.
Ma'am, can I complete, ma'am? Ma'am, have some decency, ma'am. Don't become...
Okay, go ahead, Vineet Goenka. Make your point. Yeah, and I have to bring in Radhika as well.
Yeah, very simple thing. He is an Avala racketer. There are charges on him, serious charges on him. This particular accused who is there in the jail has put it on, he's ready to go through an affidavit and go through the investigation. I think the minister should resign.
I'm ready to record my 164 statement before the court and the judge. That's what is being said by Sukesh Chandrasekhar here, also Priyanka Kakkar. Before I bring in, I get a response from you, Priyanka, Radhika Khera, please come in.
What is really sad with this entire tutu meme that we've been seeing for the past 8 years between the Bharatiya Janata Party and the Aam Aadmi Party, the only people who are suffering are the people of Delhi. At a time when they should be taking care of Delhi, whether it is in the MCD or Mr. Kejriwal's government. We've seen the huge pahads of garbage, those garbage dumps, where Mr. Kejriwal suddenly woke up after 8 years. We've seen the air quality. We are forced not to step out of our houses today, Maria. Whether it's children, old people, or even us, we cannot step out. Everybody is falling sick in Delhi. But what is the prime focus of both these governments? Both of them are only fighting with each other. And what is also very important we need to understand is that the charges to keep on blaming each other with. Like Mr. Sisodia came out with 2 press conferences, and one day he claimed that the BJP was trying to buy out all the MLAs. The second, after his CBI inquiry, he said that the CBI officer was forcing him to resign from Aam Aadmi Party and join the Bharatiya Janata Party. We are still waiting to know who was that CBI officer. We are still waiting to hear those audio tapes or video tapes or whatever proof or whatever names or whatever proof. Because it is very important when you are the chief minister, when you are the education minister, when you are the so-called excise minister who sold off Delhi to the Sharab mafia, you have to tell people, expose the Bharatiya Janata Party. What is stopping them from exposing the Bharatiya Janata Party? And these are the same people who went around all over Delhi
every time any leader of the Aam Aadmi Party is under the scanner of the investigating agencies, it's always about vendetta, and then it is about diversion. Isn't that true? And then it is going to the extent of making outlandish comments such as the CBI trying to woo the leader.
What do you expect us to say when 165 में से? Let me finish now, Radhika ji. I heard you. 165 में से if 135 people are acquitted absolved of all charges. And you see, we faced CBI raids, even to the fact if we wanted to start a show, a talk with AK online, even for that we faced a CBI raid. So what is it if not when data politics? Therefore, today the issue is to divert the issue from Morbi so that nobody asks for the resignation of this fourth CM who has been.
Will you not say?
Will you?
No, but talking specifically about this letter, Priyanka. Since I have raised all the questions regarding Morbi, I want to focus on this because this is where your explanation and answers are needed. I want to understand from you. He forced me to pay a total amount of 10 crores in the matter of 2 to 3 months and was extorted from me through constant pressure. All the amount was collected in Kolkata through his associate Chaturvedi. Shouldn't we know who is Mr. Chaturvedi? Hence, a total amount of 10 crore was paid to Mr. Satyendra Jain and 12.5 crore to DG Prison Sandeep Goel. If this is something which we should not believe, according to you, then shouldn't you be saying then that let Sandeep Goel be investigated, let this Mr. Chaturvedi be investigated? What is their role? Shouldn't that be investigated?
सारा कुछ तो इन्हीं के पास है इन्वेस्टिगेशन एजेंसीज हमारे बोलने ना बोलने से क्या होता है कर ले न्यूज़ हेडलाइन क्यों बनाते हैं व्हाई आर यू डिफ्लेक्टिंग द इशू फ्रॉम मॉर्बी दैट इज व्हाट दे आर डूइंग अभी भी आई एम सेइंग if their allegations are taken on face value there is a Supreme Court order and you should really ask the ED how did Sukesh have so much money when he's in jail and he's able to give so much money. What a monumental failure on part of this investigation agency.
Okay, Vineet Goenka, response from you and then I bring in AK Singh, Sukesh Chandrasekhar's lawyer.
I would like to congratulate the AAP spokesperson. She is defending indefendable. But anyway, let me tell you, Mrs. Poonam Jain visited Mr. Jain in jail. The payments were done. There is some incidences which have been said there. There are CCTV footages where home food has been given illegally. There are somebody who has also got body massage. I don't know what does it mean and how could they do it.
An incorrect allegation. We are going to file defamation on it, sir. Poonam Jain ji has tweeted about it also. You should know about it. Please ask the BJP spokesperson.
Ma'am, I did not speak in between. Please, ma'am. Please, you have patience. Madam, when you were speaking illogical and wrong things.
Don't make false allegations, sir. I know you have to carry a certain image of BJP.
I don't get excited, but I'm not the idea get intimidated.
I'm not excited.
Please hold on, madam. Please.
You are constantly lying, sir.
Madam, I will not speak in between.
Stop misinforming, sir. Do you have any proof
I have listened to law. Ma'am, can you please listen to me now? You are accused. You are con men. You have done extortion. Please listen to me now.
Do you have any proof of the massage you're talking about?
Hold on, please. You have taken money.
Do you have anything to say on that?
Can you just hear on, please? You have taken money. You know that Satyendra Jain is in jail because he is accused. And do you mean to say that the courts have been compromised?
You talked about massage. Tell me show me the proof of the massage you're talking about. ऐसे ही बोल देंगे कुछ भी और चले जाएंगे. आप बताइए मॉर्बी में सीएम को रिजाइन करना चाहिए.
AK Singh, your client is saying that he is ready to record his statement under 164. Will that be followed? What is exactly that he plans to do next from here?
Yes, madam. Since we have filed a complaint and we have requested to the LG to direct and proper investigation that we want a fair and free investigation may be conducted. And for that purpose, every possible evidence, statements and money trail will be given to the investigating agency as already it has been given to the ED under section 50 of the PMLA, and under that disclosure statement 105 police personnel from the Tihar jail has been booked, and recently 82 police officials has also been sanctioned and booked by the order of the LG on 20th of October 2022. So whenever the investigation will be conducted and I will be summoned, I will be given.
So you have evidence to prove, evidence to show on all the charges that have been leveled by Sukesh Chandrasekhar against Satyendra Jain.
Definitely.
You have photographs.
And whether he visited
yes, all those, yes.
Or not, this can also be drawn from the log register of the jail. Every jail has the log register. Every person who has visited the jail at the time and everything has been recorded, basically. So that can also be verified.
All right. AK Singh, thank you so much. Priyanka Kakkad, Radhika Khera, Vineet Goenka, thank you so much for joining us. You're slipping into a short break. Up next, pollution politics escalates between the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP as farm fires rage in Punjab, while the national capital chokes. A special report after a short break. Stay with us.
No lessons have been learned from the tragedy in Morbi. Some tourists took a Maruti Suzuki 800 on a narrow suspension bridge in Karnataka. In fact, locals confronted the tourists and forced them to remove the car immediately, as the weight could affect the structural integrity of the bridge. Eventually, two men pushed the car slowly towards one of the exits of the bridge. In fact, the structure swayed dangerously as the car was being moved out. It was a narrow escape for devotees in Karnataka's Chamarajanagar district. A temple chariot fell after one of its wheels came off. A huge number of devotees had gathered for the chariot procession on the occasion of Rathotsav. But when the chariot started swaying, hundreds of panicked devotees started running in the other direction. Thankfully, no casualties have been reported in the incident. A shocking video of a deputy SP slapping victims of a police sub-inspector recruitment scam in Karnataka's Tumkuru has gone viral. Victims of the PSI recruitment scam came to speak to the State Home Minister Araga Gyanendra about the difficulties that they are facing because of the scam. Instead, Tumkuru deputy SP slapped the victims and sent them away. TRS and BJP workers clashed ahead of bypolls in Telangana's Munugode, which goes to polls in 2 days from now.
Hours before campaigning came to an end for the all-important Munugode bypoll, TRS and BJP workers squared off on the streets. Both sides threw punches and swung sticks while attacking rival party workers. Police officers had to come between the two warring sides to prevent tensions from escalating. BJP accused TRS workers of attacking their cadre, claiming the party is unable to bear the massive response that the BJP is getting in Munugode. The bypoll is being seen as a precursor to next year's assembly elections in Telangana, in which a lot is at stake for both the TRS and the BJP. After a high-voltage campaign, 2.4 lakh voters will be exercising their franchise on the 3rd of November. Results for the bypoll will be out on the 6th of November.
A massive fire broke out at a restaurant in Pune. The blaze erupted at the top floor of the Marvel Vista building, causing the roof and the windows to collapse. Debris fell to the ground as the flames grew bigger. 6 fire tenders had to be rushed to the spot. Thankfully, no casualties have been reported. At least 2 people were killed after a massive fire broke out in a footwear factory in New Delhi's Narela area. 10 fire tenders were rushed to the site after receiving a call about the fire. Firefighters were seen pulling out several unconscious staff members from the windows while the fire raged, sending plumes of smoke up in the air. A quarrel over taking a dog for a walk resulted in a security guard being attacked in Gurugram.
A man was taking his dog for a walk when he was stopped by the guard. He was informed that he isn't allowed to walk his pet in a part of the society. After several incidents of dog bites in Delhi NCR over the last few months, many societies have banned dog walking in public areas. After a heated exchange, the pet owner started chasing the guard with a stick. He then cornered the guard and repeatedly assaulted him with a stick. The guard suffered severe injuries and was admitted to a hospital. No police complaint has been registered so far, but the Gurugram police is likely to take suo motu cognizance of the incident after the footage of the attack went viral.
The Mumbai police will now provide Y+ security cover to actor Salman Khan in light of the recent threats made to him allegedly by Lawrence Bishnoi gang. This is an upgrade by 2 levels, and now commandos will be among the 12 armed cops that Salman Khan was given. A letter addressed to Salman and his father Salim Khan threatened that the duo will meet the same fate as slain singer Sidhu Moosewala, whose hit was allegedly ordered by the Lawrence Bishnoi gang. Indo-Canadian Punjabi singer AP Dhillon was admitted to hospital after suffering an injury during his US tour. He has rescheduled the dates for his concerts in San Francisco and Los Angeles to December now. The singer informed his fans on Instagram that it breaks his heart to postpone the shows, but he expects a full recovery.
that's only the tip of an ugly iceberg that the capital has turned into. At least 26 out of the 37 air quality monitoring stations in Delhi recorded severe category pollution at 9 a.m. today. A deadly cocktail of farm fire smoke from Punjab, industrial pollution, vehicular traffic emissions and more that turned the city into a gas chamber. And perhaps more painful and shocking, it's déjà vu, year in and year out. Experts say the pollution from stubble burning rises with an increase in farm fires, while meteorological conditions such as calm winds, low temperatures and a low mixing height were also favorable for the accumulation of pollutants. From the political leadership, little more than a blame game and news of worse to come again.
प्रदूषण की समस्या राज्यों की समस्या नहीं है, प्रदूषण की समस्या एयरसेट की समस्या है, और ये जब तक ज्वाइंटली वर्क नहीं होगा कहीं से भी पोल्यूशन पैदा होगा और वो किसी भी राज्य के लोगों को प्रभावित करेगा। अगर सीवियर से प्लस में सिचुएशंस जाती है उसके बाद सीईओ की हम उस पर डिस्कस करके फिर उस तरफ बढ़ेंगे।
Close to 1.2 lakh machines bought with central aid to manage crop residue lie idle in Punjab. This when deploying farm equipment or machines to deal with the problem of stubble burning is considered one of the key interventions to check air pollution in Delhi NCR. Watchers point out that the Punjab government's model of spreading awareness among farmers to not burn stubble has been a flop this year. This is exemplified best in the fact that maximum farm fires have been reported from Sangrur district, the home district of Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann. Farm fires in Punjab are up almost double from last year, touching 14,000. While monetary incentives have not seen the light of day and machines and awareness efforts have proved kaput, the fear of penal action against those who burn stubble also seems to be non-existent.
In ensuring that the causes of pollution are tackled. In Punjab, there is continuous burning of parali. 13,000 plus incidents have taken place. It's a 33.5% increase compared to last year.
So the Delhi government blames farm fires in other states, saying a joint approach is the only answer. Haryana claims strong action taken passes the buck to Punjab. AAP versus BJP, Centre versus Punjab, Punjab versus Haryana, with little changing for the Aam Aadmi. It's become a global embarrassment, with many terming the national capital a gas chamber for a month more.
Nine scapegoats have been arrested, but the big fish behind the Morbi bridge collapse have gone scot-free. Ahmedabad-based Oreva Group was in charge of the renovation and repair of the bridge. Yet, the FIR has no mention of the company or its owner.
On the day of inauguration also, he left for the event from this apartment.
In March this year, the bridge was closed to the public and Oreva Group carried out the repair and renovation work. Some of the old cables of the bridge in Morbi weren't even changed during the so-called renovation. What's worse is that no fitness certificate was taken before reopening the bridge. This callousness from the repair to the reopening left more than 130 people dead. Those who survived can't shake off the horror of Sunday night.
जैसे ही पुल के ऊपर गए, थोड़ा अंदर गए, ऐसे पुल नीचे गिरा.
So who is shielding those behind the Morbi bridge collapse?
No lessons have been learned from the tragedy in Morbi. Some tourists took a Maruti Suzuki 800 on a narrow suspension bridge in Karnataka. In fact, locals confronted the tourists and forced them to remove the car immediately as the weight could affect the structural integrity of the bridge. Eventually, two men pushed the car slowly towards one of the exits of the bridge. In fact, the structure swayed dangerously as the car was being moved out. It was a narrow escape for devotees in Karnataka's Chamarajanagar district. A temple chariot fell after one of its wheels came off. A huge number of devotees had gathered for the chariot procession on the occasion of Rathotsav. But when the chariot started swaying, hundreds of panicked devotees started running in the other direction. Thankfully, no casualties have been reported in the incident. A shocking video of a deputy SP slapping victims of a police sub-inspector recruitment scam in Karnataka's Tumkuru has gone viral. Victims of the PSI recruitment scam came to speak to the State Home Minister Araga Gyanendra about the difficulties that they are facing because of the scam. Instead, Tumkuru Deputy SP slapped the victims and sent them away. TRS and BJP workers clashed ahead of bypolls in Telangana's Munugode, which goes to polls in 2 days from now.
Hours before campaigning came to an end for the all-important Munugode bypoll, TRS and BJP workers squared off on the streets. Both sides threw punches and swung sticks while attacking rival party workers. Police officers had to come between the two warring sides to prevent tensions from escalating. BJP accused TRS workers of attacking their cadre, claiming the party is unable to bear the massive response that the BJP is getting in Munugode. The bypoll is being seen as a precursor to next year's assembly elections in Telangana, in which a lot is at stake for both the TRS and the BJP. After a high-voltage campaign, 2.4 lakh voters will be exercising their franchise on the 3rd of November. Results for the bypoll will be out on the 6th of November.
A massive fire broke out at a restaurant in Pune. The blaze erupted at the top floor of the Marvel Vista building, causing the roof and the windows to collapse. Debris fell to the ground as the flames grew bigger. 6 fire tenders had to be rushed to the spot. Thankfully, no casualties have been reported. At least 2 people were killed after a massive fire broke out in a footwear factory in New Delhi's Narela area. 10 fire tenders were rushed to the site after receiving a call about the fire. Firefighters were seen pulling out several unconscious staff members from the windows while the fire raged, sending plumes of smoke up in the air. A quarrel over taking a dog for a walk resulted in a security guard being attacked in Gurugram.
A man was taking his dog for a walk when he was stopped by the guard. He was informed that he isn't allowed to walk his pet in a part of the society. After several incidents of dog bites in Delhi NCR over the last few months, many societies have banned dog walking in public areas. After a heated exchange, the pet owner started chasing the guard with a stick. Hello and welcome to the late night edition with me, Ayushman Singh Jamwal. Breaking news coming in from Jammu and Kashmir when it comes to the war on terror, which continues in the Union territories. Now, breaking news that's coming in is that 4 terrorists, including a top Lashkar commander, have been killed in twin anti-terror operations in South Kashmir. 1 terrorist was neutralized in Bij Behara and 3 were neutralized in Avantipora. Arms and ammunition have been recovered. Sources say a major terror attack has been averted as the terrorists were planning a Fedayeen attack on security forces. That's the piece of breaking news that's coming in at the top of the bulletin. Let's get an update from Ground Zero.
अवंतीपुरा में आज शाम 7 बजे के करीब उस वक्त एनकाउंटर शुरू हुआ जब फोर्सेस की एक मुश्तरका टीम ने इलाके में सर्च ऑपरेशन शुरू किया। उस दौरान इलाके में छुपे मिलिटेंटों ने फोर्सेस पर फायरिंग की और एनकाउंटर शुरू हुआ। इस एनकाउंटर में लश्कर तैयबा से वाबस्ता 3 मिलिटेंट मारे गए हैं, जिनमें एक आला कमांडर मुख्तार अहमद भी शामिल है। पुलिस ने ट्वीट करके जानकारी दी कि ये तीनों मिलिटेंट फिदायीन हमले की साजिश में थे, ताहम पुलिस ने इनकी साजिश को पहले ही नाकाम बना दिया।
I'm joined by my colleague Tejinder Singh Sori on the broadcast. Tejinder, a big victory for the security forces. What's the latest from Ground Zero?
Yes, Ayushman, indeed a big victory for the security forces and a major terror strike has been averted. The Jammu and Kashmir police say that 3 terrorists, including a foreign terrorist who was gunned down by security forces in an encounter in Avantipura area of Pulwama district. They were planning to carry out a major terror strike, a suicide attack on a security force camp. But before that, they could carry out the attack. They were intercepted and they were neutralized in an encounter that lasted for more than 2 hours. So these 3 terrorists, they were eliminated in Avantipura area of Pulwama district. Another terrorist was also eliminated in the Anantnag district. So 2 encounters broke out in South Kashmir, one in Anantnag district in which 1 terrorist was gunned down and the other one in Pulwama district. So police says that this is a big win for the security forces, though the encounter in the Anantnag area is still going on. The operation is still on, but the operation in Avantipura, in which 3 dreaded terrorists who were planning to carry out a Fedayeen attack, a suicide attack on security force camp, this encounter has already ended. So security forces, they have recovered large quantity of arms and ammunition from the terrorists who have been killed, which include one AK rifle, one AK-56 rifle, one pistol, and large quantity of arms and ammunition. Though the Additional Director General of Jammu and Kashmir Police, Vijay Kumar, says that this is a big win for security forces because these three terrorists, including one Pakistani national, they were involved in attacks and killings of security force personnel, which include one ASI of the CRPF who was killed, two RPF personnel who were killed, and Mukhtar Bhatt, along with foreign terrorists, was going for a flying attack on security force camp. So a big win before the terror attack could happen, and the sources within Jammu and Kashmir Police tell us that this was an intelligence-led operation. Security forces had the prior information about the movement of this terrorist, and after that an operation was launched when these terrorists, they were intercepted, and this encounter started. Those security forces tried to give these terrorists a chance to surrender, but these terrorists started firing towards the security forces, and in the retaliation, these three terrorists were killed in the Avantipura area of Pulwama. The another one in Anantnag, the operation there is still on. Yes, Ayushman.
Right. Tejinder, please stay with us. We're getting some more breaking news now as the crackdown on terror continues in Jammu and Kashmir. 3 hybrid terrorists have been arrested in Srinagar. Arms and ammunition has also been seized. The forces have destroyed an IED weighing 10 kilograms. That's the piece of breaking news coming in. So, multi-pronged anti-terror operations taking place in Jammu and Kashmir, ladies and gentlemen. The security forces have arrested 3 hybrid terrorists. Those visuals on the right side of your screen, and on the left side, an IED weighing 10 kilograms has now been destroyed by the security forces. Tejinder continues to be with us on the broadcast. So, Tejinder, another attack has been averted. A massive IED has now been destroyed by the security forces, and another terror cell with these 3 hybrid terrorists has now been busted.
Indeed, Ayushman, today it has been an eventful day for the security forces. On one hand, 4 dreaded terrorists were killed, and in Srinagar city now, we know that 3 hybrid terrorists were arrested by the Jammu and Kashmir police. The police says that a Naka was established at the Harnabal area in Srinagar, in which 2 hybrid terrorists who have been identified as Amir Mustaq Dar, a resident of Badgam, and Kabil Rashid, a resident of HMT in Srinagar, they were arrested. 2 hand grenades were also recovered from them. On their questioning, these 2 hybrid terrorists, they disclosed about the identity of another hybrid terrorist who was identified as Akib Jamal Bhatt, who was also arrested by the security forces, and on his innocence, 10 kilogram of IED, which he had kept at his residence in Rangret area of Srinagar, was also recovered. This IED, however, was later successfully defused by the security forces. It was safely destroyed. So this IED was intended to carry out attacks on security forces. It was intended to be planted on a roadside to carry out attack on the convoy of security forces. So a big win for the security forces. 4 terrorists gunned down in South Kashmir and 3 hybrid terrorists arrested in Srinagar. Yes, Ayushman.
Right. Thank you, Tejinder, for getting us those pieces of breaking news that are coming in. So, multi-pronged anti-terror operations taking place in Jammu and Kashmir. Major victory for the security forces in those terror-prone areas in Jammu and Kashmir, namely South Kashmir. Now, shifting focus, Sunday's Morbi disaster has sent shockwaves across the nation, where over 130 people lost their lives in the bridge collapse. Now, today, Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited the collapse site, where he reviewed the search and rescue operations. The Prime Minister also met rescue workers, medical personnel, as well as survivors and their families. He also chaired a meeting with local officials and called for a swift investigation, ordering them to take action against all those responsible. Remember, this bridge was opened 6 days back after being under repair for 7 months. It was opened 5 months ahead of schedule without a fitness or completion certificate. Now, there was no crowd control as tickets were sold at 17 rupees per head, and overcrowding caused this unfit bridge to collapse. 9 suspects have been arrested, all linked to the Oreva Group, a subsidiary of Ajanta Infrastructure. This firm was responsible for the repair and maintenance of the bridge. The arrested include contractors, ticket collectors, security guards and managers, but no action has been taken against the top brass of the company. Moreover, there has been no action against civic officials for what is clearly a case of criminal negligence.
Prime Minister Modi touched down in Morbi, where more than 130 lives were snuffed out in a matter of seconds when an overcrowded hanging bridge collapsed. After conducting an aerial survey of the Machchu river, where teams of the NDRF are still searching for the missing, Prime Minister Modi visited the site of the bridge collapse and took stock of the operations. He then visited the local hospital, met survivors of Sunday night's tragedy, as well as the families of those who lost their lives. Prime Minister Modi said the mishap in Morbi has shaken him to the core. But questions remain over whether Morbi was a man-made tragedy. 9 scapegoats have been arrested, but the big fish behind the Morbi bridge collapse have gone scot-free. Ahmedabad-based Oreva Group was in charge of the renovation and repair of the bridge. Yet, the FIR has no mention of the company or its owner.
The watchman here is telling us that till Diwali he was here and after that he left. Now, in fact, on the day of inauguration also, he left. Left for the event from this apartment, which is situated just 10 minutes distance from a suspension bridge.
In March this year, the bridge was closed to the public and Oreva Group carried out the repair and renovation work. But despite the contract clearly stating that the bridge will be closed for 8 to 12 months, Oreva opened it back for the public 5 months in advance on the Gujarati New Year. Some of the old cables of the bridge in Morbi weren't even changed during the so-called renovation. What's worse is that no fitness certificate was taken before reopening the bridge. Yet, tickets were sold for a mere 17 rupees per person to more than 400. Zero crowd management meant that the bridge was loaded way beyond capacity. Shockingly, the municipal corporation claims it only found out that the bridge was functional on the 29th of October. This callousness from the repair to the reopening left more than 130 people dead. Those who survived can't shake off the horror of Sunday night.
जैसे पुल के ऊपर गए, थोड़ा अंदर गए, ऐसे पुल नीचे गिरा.
15-20 छोकरा बॉयडे मस्ती कर रहा था और लत-बत छारी में मार रहा था. पहला धीरे से थी, फिर फास्ट से, और तीसरी बार आवाज आई नहीं तो बीच गिर गए.
So who is shielding those behind the Morbi bridge collapse?
Is the rescue operation over, or will the search operation continue with your